they started taking a little more ownership as to what they wanted to learn?
We started that in high school,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and electives,
Oh
but
yeah.
but not, we didn't go outside of the academic realm in
Okay.
electives. We still wanted it to be called school.
Mm.
We still, so my daughter, as I mentioned, she shifted more to poetry and literature. She wanted
Mm-hmm.
to study French. She wanted to study Latin. She wanted to study voice. My son shifted more toward, he really wanted to study mathematics and history and theology. We allowed for some emphasis areas in
Yeah.
there in the high school times, and now we have them also choosing some of their specialty areas, if you will. My daughter Michelle has written 2 books of poetry.
Mm.
There, if you go to Amazon.com, you see Michelle Swope. She
Yeah.
has what she calls fireside poetry. That's just a love for her.
Mm.
However, we still require certain things to be done that are just necessary for both of them.
Mm.
Exercise, chores, in our
Right.
case, Bible reading also. And they have chores that are listed by day.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They have, my son has a chore chart and he has a challenge chart too. And his challenge chart is to satisfy his own goal of keeping his mind strong despite his
Mm.
schizophrenia. He
Mm-hmm.
really wants his mind to be strong, but he's not on his own going to do what's necessary to keep his mind and his body strong. So he
Right.
just needs that support.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the answer is we began probably high school and have continued into young adulthood, and we intend to continue for as long as the Lord strengthens us to be able to continue to provide care for them.
Yeah, definitely. And the I think it's good to point out every child is different. When
Yes.
they get to that point, there's not some magical age that they're just gonna say, I've got it. I will set my own goals and I will pursue them myself. And maybe it's a point where you as a parent hand it off to a caregiver at some point to help your kids do that, and they don't ever do that completely on their own. But
Yes. And
it's
there are all kinds of different services too. We have self-directed services in our state that I use, where I have select individuals that we have hired to
mm,
work on goals. Because one thing that has been really helpful is to make sure that it's not all mom or dad, but that we
right.
have this team really of outside adults, like
Mhm.
the supervisor at my daughter's nursing home.
Mm,
She's someone who helps my daughter, the supervisor at the history museum for my son, but then also these personal assistants that we have. They are more the kids' age.
mhm.
They're hand-picked childhood friends who now are
Uh-huh.
married young adults who are very capable, and
Mhm.
they they help. My son he wants to be strong, so the personal assistant goes on 6-mile hikes that I would not be doing myself.
Definitely.
So we still have a team of
Mm,
people that help, because we want them to be as independent as possible. And again, this is just our situation. Many young adults with special needs, there's a whole spectrum, can
mhm.
can live in independent or supported living settings,
Right.
or a group home, or they can have an apartment, they can go to college. There are just
Mhm.
so many different things. I'm really only speaking about our very narrow experience.
Right. And as a parent, you take little steps towards independence with them and see what works. I mean,
Yes.
there's no right or wrong and no simple no simple solution, unfortunately, either.
No formula, but we do. I think that partnering with their goals, that's with
Mm,
their own goals, that's the key, because then
yeah.
they know that you're on you're on their side. You're trying to help them achieve their own goals. And I often tell my son, we want you to have freedom. We want you to be as free and successful as you can be.
Right.
But as soon as we see that we have made a mistake and given you more freedom than you're ready for, then we will pull that back until such a time as it seems that we can extend that further.
I love that you put that back on yourself. You know, you don't say, well, you pushed it too far, or you know, it was more like we allowed too much. That's a really good way to frame that. Just wanted to point that out. But yeah.